Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Macky with the Hidden Threads podcast, and we are back from a little Christmas break. And who do we have here with us? Wait, there she is, Victoria.
Hey,
Victoria, tell us about your Christmas. What all happened here?
I got the flu for Christmas.
You got the flu. Is that why you sound like you've been smoking Marlboro Reds?
Blessed. Yes, I've been smoking 3 packs a day. Oh my God. Yeah, no, I've been sick.
That is terrible when you get that. We've had a lot of people in our church get it, and it's been pretty rough. Did you get anything good?
No, I got $100. That counts.
$100.
That's so good.
$100 is $100.
That's
You know what I mean?
saying.
So,
what'd you get?
I got some new boots.
A new boot goofing.
New boot goofing. We rescued a horse.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll get into him in some other time if you want.
Yeah.
We need to take him over, and you can see them on our Dawson Horses TikTok. They're on there.
Shout out.
They're pretty funny. Yeah. Pretty funny little animals we got. We got a few horses and dogs and stuff. But
yeah.
So we're going to talk about Christmas today, right?
Lots of things happen during the holidays.
I was telling you a story about one before we got started today. Can we continue with it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So a few years back, we got hired. There's a lady. She had twin babies. They were like below 1 year old. Mm-hmm. Cute little boys, identical twins.
Oh.
And her husband, she said, I think he's having an affair, and I think I know who it is with. All right. So she was pretty sharp on it. Now, here's the issue. This woman had inherited a bunch of money. Her parents had died, and she had a lot of inheritance in cash. She had a lot of cash. And her husband is already talking about he wanted a divorce from her, blah, 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 all these things. And he wanted half of the inheritance. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we had an issue, but he was having a little affair going on. So we got to follow this guy. And sure enough, we found that he had him a girlfriend. He would spend the night. So he was saying he was mad at his wife. So he would stay at his mother's house. He was saying he was staying there. All right. So we followed him, and he would go stay at his girlfriend's house, the paramour.
Yeah.
Right, and stay over there till about midnight or so, and then go to his mom's house. A couple of times when she didn't have her children, the paramour, he would spend the whole night. So we got the fall. We proved this over and over.
Yeah.
And we even got him out shopping at the mall during Christmas shopping.
Bad.
Like her kids were with him, and he was buying them Christmas gifts.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it was really bad.
Yeah.
And so we was following him one night, and we found out he was, well, I was just following. It was me actually doing it this time. Mm-hmm. And he went to pick this woman up, and I videoed him getting them got her mother, the paramour's mother, and her 2 children. They're all dressed up.
Yeah.
And they went to a Christmas concert downtown. This is the paramour now.
Yeah.
Her children and her mother, and this guy picked them up. Not your average Christmas concert. It was a gospel Christmas concert.
That is so bad.
So he's cheating on his wife, taking his paramour and the children and the mother to a gospel concert. Now, what's funny is I was kind of hanging around waiting to get them to come out so I could get video of them coming out and everything. Mm-hmm. Now, I was just talking to the security guards there at the place. I'm not going to name where it is. Okay. You have an idea.
Yeah.
If you're in Huntsville, you have an idea. And they said, hey, do you want to go in and see it? And I went in, and it was called the 10 Tenors. They're very good, by the way.
Okay.
And I said, yeah, I'll go in. They said, yeah, you can go and hang out on the side with me. The security guard, we hung out. Yeah. Very good. They did How Great Thou Art and all this stuff. It was good. I was like, hey, I was like, praise Jesus. This is good. But then I was getting videos of this guy. He was raising his hands to praise Jesus with his paramour with her kids there. What do you think of that, Victoria?
That is so dirty, having a whole second family on the side.
Yeah, it's really bad. He wanted this woman's inheritance. Very terrible person.
Yeah.
10 Tenors, though, shout out. You were good that night. So they did How Great Thou Art. All the Christmas songs, huh?
You made out with that. I got to listen to a little bit of tunes.
Yeah, get a free show because I kind of knew the security guard a little bit. I've dealt with him before on other stuff. He's like, yeah, come on. He knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got video of them in there hanging out. And then we got video of them coming out all together, holding hands, skipping like a family, like they were already married and everything.
That is
insane. It doesn't stop there, Victoria. Let me keep going.
Stop, yeah.
A few days later, he had the twins with him. He had custody. Like he said, I want the kids today or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he had taken them and picked up this little paramour lady, went to the park, and she was pushing them around in their little carts with them all day. They went to like a jump thing and all this. And My client was really mad. She was more mad over that part, being around the kids, than she was to him running around.
Yeah,
so
taking your babies out like that they're yours and
like
it's
they're
your
yours.
family.
It's just terrible.
That is
terrible. How much? I'm just checking my stuff here. Some people ask me on why do I have headphones on, Victoria?
So you can hear how beautiful we sound.
So we've had serious sound issues getting this podcast up and running, and I can hear myself and hear Victoria, so I know if we have an issue right away. So
we started out with some.
It sound like we're out in the yard shouting into the microphone. But anyway, all right.
Maybe we're crispier.
So yeah, this lady. We're back on subject now. We get off topic a little bit sometimes, but it's okay.
ADHD. Yeah.
Coffee, ADHD, whatever. And I'm worried about Victoria's lungs with her flu, her influenza. Yeah. So child custody issues and adultery tends to spike during the holidays. Now, we don't get called till after it's over. Mm-hmm. All right. So we start getting those, like we started Friday, this past, a day after Christmas, basically, starting getting an influx of calls. Yeah. Hey, I think my wife is running around. And the reason why, do you know the reason why, Victoria?
I mean, I guess if you're trying to do family stuff with your little second family, this is a perfect time to do it, right? I don't know.
Yeah, adultery, custody, all these things. People have more time on their hands.
Yeah.
They're off work slowed down. Yeah. And they have time to go out and do these things and get into nonsense. So
parties. And
we've actually been paid to follow people on Christmas Day for custody issues where maybe they weren't supposed to have a certain person around their child, and they thought this person's going to be around our children. I know they are.
Yeah.
And they have to pay us extra to go out on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but sometimes they do it. Sometimes it's worth it. Yeah. And we show that, hey, yeah, this person that's not supposed to be around your children is around them. Or, like we talked about in another one, the parent that has the custody drops the kids off with mama, and yet you don't see them. They're gone.
Drinking is another huge thing during the holidays.
Yeah, people like to drink a lot.
If your custody agreement says not to drink and you're out here at parties with your family.
Out here at parties, driving kids around.
Yeah.
We've been asked to do that before, too, and we did one over the holidays a few years back where, hey, if you see them drinking and driving, can you tell the police that they're drinking and driving? What do you think?
I would say, yeah. If you saw them consume the alcohol and visibly see them messed up and they get in the car with kids. Yeah.
We watch them consume it and we get on the phone, say, hey, 911, we got a guy driving crazy. And we've had them pulled over before. But,
mandatory child.
And we had them pulled over with children in the car. So and people are like, that's dirty. You shouldn't be doing that. Well, sorry. I'm going to. You shouldn't be driving around drunk with kids in the car.
Yeah. That's a bigger issue at hand.
Bigger issue. And it's a big deal, around the holidays, a lot of stress, and we keep going back between adultery and custody on this, but I think everybody gets the gist. The adultery people get a lot of time on their hands. They get work slows down. They get time to go out and do these things, and they have more opportunities. Maybe their spouse with the children are, they're doing Christmassy things, and you're just like, hey, I'm going to go escape for a little while.
Yeah.
You go hook up with your girlfriend or boyfriend, and we catch it a lot during the holidays. What else do you think, Victoria?
I just hate that it happens the most during the holiday season, because that's just supposed to be a good time, good spirits, and then
right.
I don't know.
Now, for the people that it happens to you over Christmas, we've already started getting some emails and calls the last few days about that. Hey, something's going on, and I've attributed to somebody. The other side had some time on their hands, so they said, hey, let's go and party it up.
I'm amazed at the influx of people that have came in just the past week, it seems like.
I told you they would, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a big influx between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
We haven't got any requests this year to go out on New Year's Eve. We typically do.
No, I have not.
We had one a few years back where a lady said, hey, my husband's going to go out with his buddies on New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. My first question is, why aren't you hanging out with your wife on New Year's Eve?
Really?
They've been having some issues, obviously.
Yeah.
And so we went, it wasn't me this time, it was one of our other guys. It was in Birmingham, actually. Went out, got this guy. I'm talking, he started in about noon, going from bar to bar.
Jeez.
With his little woman, his little girlfriend.
Yeah.
And the interesting part about this, the girlfriend was his secretary, executive assistant. He owned a business, and this was his, and he was about 55 years old, and she was around 27, 28. What do you think of that?
I feel like that's typical too, though. Is it not? I feel like
I don't know. I guess it's a power thing.
It is a power thing.
It is.
It's definitely a power thing.
I mean, I'm 50, and I don't know. I just don't look at people that way. It's just that they get that power in their mind. And
definitely, I don't know. I've always been told by the women in my family, they're like, most men, as soon as they get old, and they don't want some old looking woman, they want a younger woman, which I think is so messed up, but it seems to reign true a lot of the time, especially with the people we deal with. They go for younger women.
Yeah, we see that. And I was coming from the perspective of the younger woman. I guess the guy has money, and they look at it's a financial aspect to it. So
it's the bag.
The bag.
It's the bag.
Is that what that means?
I mean, I guess like if you're young and you've really never touched money, and then you have an older man come in that really has some wealth,
and he takes you out, good place to eat, buys you clothes, don't even think about
life.
it. Yeah,
yeah.
But he has a wife and kids that he should be spending money on. So.
Correct.
Back to this guy though. They went around from bar to bar. They were hooping it up. Went out to eat. They were drunk as skunks walking into the restaurant. One of our investigators went in at the bar and hung out and watched them and got all on video.
Yeah.
Rang in the new year at a bar next door, and they proceeded to go out in the parking lot. They couldn't make it back to the hotel.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
They started making out outside the car. It was one of these cold nights, like 20 degrees.
Oh Lord.
And they just went at it right there. But
they were feeling warm.
They were feeling warm. Yeah. And then they went and spent the night at the hotel. So it was a very interesting case. Another one of the New Year's ringing in the holidays.
The worst way possible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that was it. We get a lot of those where it's a younger woman and an older man.
Yeah.
I think it's like you said, they're putting gifts on them, and this girl seeing a guy spend money on her that he don't even think about it.
Right.
You know? It's probably not that much money. It's
really probably not compared to like a young woman to someone that actually has money. It's probably not anything. Yeah.
Somebody's been working at Kmart and they got this guy.
Right.
Wait, is Kmart still a thing?
I actually think it's not.
Really?
Yeah.
Hit us up. I don't know. Is Kmart still around? I know Sears bought it, but anyway, Kmart was a big part of my life growing up. But
is it really?
Yes.
Oh.
Kmart and Walmart used to battle it out.
Were you there when Paula Deen? Was it Paula Deen when she released her things at Kmart and everyone tripped out?
I don't know if it's Paula Deen or the one that went to prison.
It's the one that went to prison. I get them mixed up.
What's her name?
Gosh, I can't. That's Stewart.
Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody asked me about that case the other day.
Yeah, what they say?
You know, she didn't go to jail about it wasn't so much the $80,000 that she traded illegally.
Yeah.
She lied to the police, the investigators under oath. That's what got her put in jail.
I watched that whole documentary and I was like, Martha.
It was a lie. She was under oath and lied. That's what got her in trouble.
I
more
was
than
like,
anything.
all those men probably have like offshore bank accounts too. Like, there's no way she's the only one getting targeted for that. But yeah.
It was the lying to the cops thing. What it was. So, well, we've got way off track on this one, Victoria. Yeah. So back to adultery.
Yes.
Have we got any recent adultery cases going on that we can think of?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cash Money. I just brought you.
Cash Money. Now that was a digital one. That was crazy. So we just had a lady. She thought her husband. She knows her husband's having an affair, but he's doing what we call typical narcissist behavior, right? Where he's accusing her of being the cheater. Mm-hmm. And she gave us her phone. We went through it. He had several apps on there, hidden apps, where he could see everything she was doing, listen in on the device.
Yeah.
He could even activate her camera if he wanted to. And we discovered that pretty quickly with our forensics. Shout out to Belkasoft. We use Belkasoft, by the way.
Woohoo!
Victoria just went through some training on that, and
yeah, I gotta do some more.
We gotta do some more training.
In depth.
We're gonna get Victoria certified in that. What do you think?
I like that idea. I'd love to help.
But that's a big deal, though. So somebody's on your phone, can see everything you're doing, especially if you're going through a divorce, where they can see your correspondence with your attorney.
Yes,
the opposing side's not allowed to see your correspondence back and forth with your lawyer, attorney-client privilege, and all that. So if they do bring something up, the opposing side that says, "Oh, she was chatting with this guy through text message," it's inadmissible because you were eavesdropping, number one,
right?
And you can see anything on that phone. If it violates attorney-client privilege, can be dismissed, so can be kicked out as evidence. So
he's just screwed himself over by putting all that spyware on.
He did. He thinks he's some kind of hacker and all this stuff. He may be, but he's not that good because we caught it really quick.
Yeah.
Well, our software catches all of it anyways. You can't hide it. So.
Yeah.
But all right. So we we're a little rocky on the first one back. What do you think?
It's been a week or two since we've done it.
Victoria can't breathe. She's about 10% oxygen right now.
Yeah, inhaling small amounts of oxygen.
She's pushing through, though. She's pushing through with her Marlboro Reds over here.
Uh-huh.
So, but we're going to take a break, and then we're going to be back and get more into shift over to custody a little bit.
Sweet.
But,
Peace.
Yep, safe online dating. It's a big deal. So maybe you met the person of your dreams on Tinder or one of the other platforms, and you're getting ready to meet up with them in person. Or maybe you've been in a long-distance online relationship with them. You just want to know who they are. Well, we have a tool called TLOXP. It's only available to federal agents, police forces, and private investigators. Hey, that's me. And we can tell you about their bankruptcies, judgments, evictions, divorces, arrest record, important things you need to know before spending any more time with this person. All right, get to know who they are and confront them with it, or just break up with them, whatever your choice is. But you have to call us or fill out the information on the link below. You're going to hear from a real private investigator that's going to go over this data with you, go over the pricing options with you, and get the information you need to be safe online. Don't wait any longer. Click the link or give us a call to get started. The number is 866-910-7499. Again, 866-910-7499, or click the link. Hope to talk to you soon. All right, we're back with the second part of this. There's Miss Victoria. She had to go hit a nebulizer to get some oxygen in her lungs.
I wish I should have brought mine with me.
We need to bring you some oxygen.
It'd be hooked in.
You know, speaking of oxygen, a few years back we went to Wyoming, right? Mm-hmm. And we got there and everything was good. We went out, and a few hours into it, our youngest daughter started like getting sick, like she had a stomach virus.
Ew.
And I was like, what's wrong with her? And we went to the doctor and all these things, and she just couldn't quit throwing up and felt terrible. I was like, man, we're going to have a stomach virus for our trip to Wyoming.
Oh, that sucks.
Come to find out she had altitude sickness. We got her some little portable oxygen things.
Yeah.
And she started hitting those, snapped right out of it.
What?
So, yeah, it was great.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
Then I started hitting the oxygen. And I'm like, man, I should have been hitting this my whole life. This stuff's good.
Could you physically tell it?
You could. Yeah. I mean, you're about 6,500 feet there.
Yeah.
But when you fly in, it's like a shock to your body if you're not, Yeah. And but yeah, she was really sick, and
she just needed some pure oxygen.
Pure oxygen, and she snapped right out of it. But it was pretty crazy. But we're back now talking about getting into a little bit of custody.
Yes.
All right. Get me a sip of my coffee.
Your peanut cup.
The peanuts.
That's so cute.
Yeah. My wife loves peanuts, so we got stuff everywhere with peanuts on it. But you can't watch those you can only get those on Apple TV now.
Really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yep. Apple's being selfish with the peanuts. But
I used to watch that all the time.
Yep. All right. So proving cohabitation. All right. So number one, what is cohabitation?
Staying over with someone, spending the night with someone who is not your spouse.
Not supposed to be there, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we get that a lot. So people say, hey, I think we say we got a shared custody situation, and the other side, whenever they have the kids, people suspect that some random person is staying over. Mm-hmm. And it's a violation of the custody agreement. And sometimes it's a big deal depending on who this person is.
Yes.
They can be violent criminals, pedophiles, or just people you don't want around your kids. Because they, if the other side didn't have the respect to say, hey, look, I got this person in my life, I'd like to introduce them to the kids, they don't co-parent well, right?
Right.
I think it's very disrespectful to you as a parent to just throw the kids in front of it. Usually the kid's telling them, hey,
yeah,
Mr. Jimmy was spending the night last night. Okay, well, who's sleeping in the house with my kids is a big question, right?
Yes.
And so we go out and prove that. We do it with several late night, early morning drive-bys. We'll go by at night to show people's cars there. We'll go by early in the morning to show the cars are still there. And sometimes we get them coming out of the house. We can do that if we get a schedule for them, if they're going to work.
Yeah.
And to show, the evidence shows, hey, this person does reside there. Mm-hmm. And we also do it by going through the garbage. A lot of people throw their mail away, and it shows that they live there. They're probably, a lot of times are getting mail there. They've already changed their address. Yeah. It's a big deal. And judges do look down on that. They're like, hey, I don't like this. If you're not going to be grown enough to have a co-parenting situation where we're respectful to each other, then maybe you shouldn't have your parental rights reduced until you end this relationship.
Right.
All right. We have had it before where they told the judge, okay, I've ended a relationship, but they haven't. They snuck them around. So the person would park up the road and walk there. We've seen that before.
Yeah.
And got that on video.
Thinking they're being sneaky.
Yeah. And you got to prove it. We've said it many times on here that to get a custody modification, you got to have proof. It can't just be the kid said or the neighbor said. You got to have videos, mail in there, all those things. People get all upset with us sometimes because they're like, the first day we don't find something. I'm like, well, it's a whole case. It's a whole story we're telling.
Yes.
We're telling a story, not a snapshot of a 3-hour day.
Right.
And so you got to go, it's preponderance of the evidence, right? All the evidence put together, stacked on top in a story. And that's what we try to do for people.
And it takes about 30 days.
It can take 30 days.
Build a story up.
Yeah. And
some people think it's way less than that.
Yeah, we've got a couple of recent ones. We're going to get into a whole nother story on that in the next one. But people, they hire us and the next day they're like, why don't you have anything yet? I'm like, come on, man.
It takes time.
I haven't even gotten home yet from meeting you. And we have you found anything yet? You know, I know it's a lot of money and there's a lot of stress going on. I get it. But sometimes you got to give us some breathing room. But a couple other things with custody violations, and we mentioned it in the first part of this one, was if it's your turn to have custody and you basically pick the kids up and drop them off with somebody. I always say grandparents. That's typical. Yeah. They leave them with the grandparents. But sometimes they just leave them with their friends.
Whatever.
Friends. And then they're gone. We had one where a guy dropped his kids off. It's over Christmas. Like they had his 2 weeks over Christmas or however they did a week or whatever the arrangement was. Picked up the kids, took them to his buddy's house, and he was gone. He got a flight and went out to California to hang out with his girlfriend. So, and then it's crazy. So if you don't want the children, don't get them.
Right.
And he wasn't a good guy. He was a drunk and was not an overall good person. So obviously he did not get a favorable custody. He was the one filed too. Like he wanted better custody. So.
And it's like, why is the one that really is the one doing most of the problem causing the one that's trying to file for and get the kid? It just makes no sense.
It doesn't.
It does not. I think it's a power thing again.
Power. I think they're trying to get back at their ex too a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's a game and the kids get caught up in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And it's very unfortunate. Happens every day though. That's why we're in business, to prove that these people are, my scientific term, scumbags.
There you go. I like that.
That is scientific. True. So what's another story we could get into here? I'm looking at my notes.
Of custody related story.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't really custody related. Your Puerto Rico story.
There's some custody involved in that. I'm going to get a whole podcast on this guy.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to talk about why this impacts, because he does have children.
Yeah.
So there's a guy. We start out with this, how I got the call. So I got a call on like a random Monday at like 4:30. I'm driving back and from Huntsville, actually, I get a call from a lady and she's like, hey, my husband's missing. I'm like, oh, wow. So I get the details from her. She tells me that he flew out for work on Thursday. Now, this is a Monday, the previous Thursday. Hadn't heard from him since, except that day, some random guy from Puerto Rico called her and said, hey, I've got your husband here. I need you to cash at me $200. And I'll let him talk to you. I'm like, $200? That when I heard that, I was like, something's not sitting right. You know, you'd expect to hear $1 million, right. $500,000, $250,000, you know.
Yeah.
We'll let your husband go. It was not a true ransom.
Yeah.
I'm like, $200. That does not sound right. So I got to ask her questions. Got his flights and started getting on there with Delta, acting like I was him on their little chat. Got his receipts. All right. This guy flew from Nashville to Dallas, then from Dallas to Miami. All right. Then in Miami, he picked up a passenger, showed it right on his receipt.
Oh my God.
A 26-year-old lady. And they flew to Puerto Rico together. And he got down there, stayed drunk, gambled all his money away, and came up with this elaborate scheme to get $200 to fly to Miami. I'm like,
oh my goodness.
I'm like, oh my Lord, this guy is great. Thank you, guy. You're helping our podcast out a lot.
That's a story. Oh. Oh,
and
desperate.
And I actually got this guy on the phone that called her asking for the Cash App money.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He wasn't in Puerto Rico when he made the call. He was actually in Miami. He'd made it back to Miami, but he didn't have any money. He was going to rent a car and drive it home. Okay. He had ran completely out of money. And this guy was a cop at the airport, and he went up and gave him a sob story and said, look, can you use your phone and call my wife and get her to Cash App? And they came up with this whole story.
Oh, my word.
Anyway, and he went driving into home that night. Later that, it was maybe the next day. I think it was early the next morning. Went driving into home and pulled up like, honey, I'm home.
Oh my God.
Like nothing had happened. I made it out alive. Like he survived something, and she would not let him in the house.
Oh, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either.
But we was able to track this girl down too he was with, and she was a escort out of Miami that he had been chatting with and paid her to go with him on this little party.
Oh my gosh.
And she was an escort, worked at Cheetah's. If you're from the Miami area, you know what Cheetah's is. High-end strip club. Okay. So he was a mess. I don't know what happened there. I kind of lost touch with him.
Yeah.
But he did have children involved.
Okay.
And he's going to lose. It's not going to look good for him. My wife's a doctor, like MD doctor. All right. High-level MD doctor.
Running around on a
and
nice woman.
I think this is probably going to hurt him financially and on his custody. Well, the financial part, he's probably not going to have to pay much, but her money that she was making is gone. So,
right.
So, and they're not sharing that money anymore. And it's just crazy. But it does have an effect on those kids. These are little kids, like under 5, that they had together. And this guy could not resist. I'm sure it started out online. Yeah. That's where they normally start. He said, oh, look at this website. Had this girl. She started chatting with him, probably showed him a little skin, and it evolved into, hey, you can pay me and we can meet up type thing. And he was going to be a player. We're going to go gambling, so that happened.
Ended
Victoria.
up broke and with your wife going to divorce you.
Yeah.
So
good times, Victoria. But what do you think of that?
That one's insane.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
insane.
recent. That's like a month ago.
Yeah, that wasn't too long ago.
But yeah, we're going to get into a little more of that, about how I tracked those tickets down in another episode.
Yeah.
And then more of the technical episode. Today, this first one today is
getting back
just getting the groove, and we're just chatting, kind of catching up.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, so that's it for the day. Anything you want to add, Victoria, before we leave?
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Oh yeah, New Year.
Happy New
Year.
Year.
A few days away.
Yeah.
A few days away, and then
2025, baby.
2020. You got to fly in your face,
this
Victoria.
Fly always attacks me at least once.
We're out here on the farm. I don't care if it's 30 degrees outside. We always have flies.
Okay.
But
it's part of it.
But anyway, all right, we're out of here, and we'll see you next episode.